It's time for the Snap.Build cast, your podcast focused on home builders of all sizes and offering professional views of experts in the home building industry, from financing to final walkthroughs. Thanks for joining us. Let's get building.
Welcome to the Snap.Build cast. I'm Michael D'Antonio and happy to be joined by Steve over at Snap.Build, the EVP of Lending. Hi, Steve. How you doing today?
Doing great. How you doing? Good to be with you.
Awesome. So today's topic is the process of underwriting and how to make it less painful. And we all know that underwriting is just the process that we have to go through to get things done. And we all know it's painful, but there's ways that it can be less painful for customers. And Steve, I know you have a lot of experience in this space, but first let's talk about your background and what you do at Snap.
Great. I came to Snap with a different set of background than others. I came from the real estate world in general. So I was a realtor for a lot of years. I've been a flipper. I've been an investor. I've been a landlord. I've worked with small companies. I've been an entrepreneur. And what really excited me about coming to Snap is first of all, our technology, which I know you know a lot about. We might talk about a little bit about today, but the way we control money is so different than others. Draw funds that I saw that as very exciting and a big differentiator. But the culture of the small business has always appealed to me, and the folks here are great folks that some I've known a long time, others I've known as we've worked here. But it's a great culture, and I've enjoyed my time here. And we're on to exciting things, and I just love being a part of it.
It's awesome. And your experiences, as an entrepreneur, real estate, obviously dealing with contracts, proposals, the underwriting process, you've probably seen it from all angles, right?
For sure. And there's no doubt about it. I mean, you mentioned it just a moment ago. There is nothing fun about underwriting. I make the joke to folks that we talk to that it's not a whole lot different than going to the dentist, right? We know we got to go. I was just at the dentist last week. I joked with my dentist about that fact that we all hate going there, but we know we got to do it, and it's just part of the deal, right? And underwriting for potentially somebody that's going to be borrowing millions of dollars is no different. We want to make sure that we understand who the folks that we're going to be dealing with and lending millions of dollars to, who they are and what their businesses are like and what their experiences are like and what the projects that they want to get funded are like. And we try to take a reasonable attitude to the amount of looking behind the curtain that we do with these folks and try to do all that in a polite and prompt way.
Yeah. And when we talk about less painful, what are some ways that, your methodology and Snap.Build in general kind of make it less painful?
I think the biggest way that it's less painful is that, because we are an asset-based lender, which means that we're going to look really at the asset that you as a borrower builder are bringing to the table, and the lot that you're going to build on, the land that you're going to build on, and the houses that you're going to build on it. We're going to look and evaluate that as a part of the underwriting process. As much or more than we're going to look at you as a borrower and your ability to pay us every month on the debt that you're incurring, right? Because we try to make it very cash flow friendly to borrowers that we work with, in the sense that they're not writing us checks every month. So all of that debt service comes from when they sell the house. So we definitely want to make sure that the property, the land that our borrowers bring into the deal, and the houses that they're going to build on it are in good shape. They're good houses. We've got an experienced borrower builder that is coming to the table, and we feel good about the ability to, however the house is going to be sold or refinanced, we feel confident in what that takeout looks like.
And that process ultimately allows builders to potentially build more, right? Build more and build more quickly. If
sure.
Yeah. Yeah, talk to me
For
about that. How does that process help builders? It seems like this is a more builder friendly process when it comes to underwriting.
Yeah, I think one of the big parts for us that can be equal parts frustrating and exciting about us is that in almost all facets of our business, we're very non-traditional, right? So when you come through the underwriting process, we're not going to give you any limits on how many houses you can build, how much money we're going to loan you, how much money per house we're going to loan you, how many houses you can start with us, all kind of traditional limits that other institutions or other lenders will give to you. So we want to make sure that we're dealing with an experienced business that knows what they're doing and is looking to grow and is constrained in their growth because of their current financing needs.
And then and that seems like a non-cookie cutter approach when it comes to companies that you're dealing with, because ultimately for them, you want them to be building as much as possible, because the partnership then grows even more around the revenue for all parties, right? I mean, ultimately,
for sure.
That's what it
No
comes
question.
down to.
We want to find groups that have good land positions, so they've got the ability to, they're either buying lots aggressively or they're partnering up with groups that own lots. We try to be very open-minded about the way in which a builder has an ability to build on a piece of property. So one of the big differentiators between us is that we don't require that the land that they're going to build on be owned by the group that we're going to lend the money to. There's some boxes that need to be checked and hoops that need to be jumped through when that's the case, when somebody owns the land that's different than our borrower. But we understand that we're dealing with small businesses, right? And those businesses most of the time don't have a lot of money to go out and buy up lots. So they have different arrangements with landowners or investors that are going to work with them to provide that money to them. We want to provide all the money to build the house.
Right.
And we require that they bring the land as their equity in our deal. So again, it's a way of doing lending for construction that's different than the norm, but we think it's a great way to do it.
And I know you have examples without naming names, but where a builder or a company has come to you with the idea of building one home that's then led to multiple homes over multiple years. Can you talk a little bit about kind of how working with Snap.Build builders can really see that there's examples of revenue growth based on the amount of homes you can build and how you can build them faster and more efficient?
100%. That there's a lot of examples of that. I would say most of our clients operate in that manner, and I'll say with nothing to do with underwriting. One of probably the biggest key to our business, I believe, is that we're the best in our space about getting draw money out to builders. I think when borrowers go and start to shop around for what lenders they're going to work with, I think most businesses make an assumption that if you're lending money in construction, all of these lenders will give me the money to build the house as easily as each other. They're all about the same, and I'm here to tell you that that's not the case.
Right.
If you're shopping for a lender, that's probably the most important question you got to ask, I think, is, how does the draw process work? And show me examples of how frequently it works and how I'm going to get my money. Because, the last thing you want is to be, starting a project and all of a sudden you figure out that it's tough to get the money.
Right.
I mean, that's the whole progress. That's the whole point of the process, right? Is that I need to get the money to build this house, and how's that going to work, and how frequently does it happen, and how does it happen, and what are the things that I got to do to make sure it happens, and every lender does it a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that we do the best, apart from underwriting, is just the way our systems are designed to get the money to the people building the house, to do it the fastest way so they can build the house the fastest. You can negotiate the best terms with the vendors so that you got the best subs and vendors working on your projects so that you can deliver the fastest for your customers.
And that draw area, what happens to a builder when that horrible situation occurs? Are they spending time fighting with the lender? Are they not building the house, right? What are the consequences of that?
Yeah, nothing good happens for sure when you're a company that's borrowed money to build a house and you can't get the money to build the house, right? So they're going to tell you that they want you to put the money out first, and then they'll have inspections and they'll pay you money based on the percentage that's complete. What we see a lot is where we've tried to be ultra sensitive, especially in the last couple of years with all the supplies chain shortages and all that. We found a lot of vendors would require a pretty substantial deposit in order to make the to get the order in to get windows and door packages or appliances or things like that. A lot of these vendors wanted to either get paid all up front or a pretty heavy percentage up front. And part of our draw process is that we pay those folks directly. So because we send the money to the vendor or the supplier, we know that the money is going to the intended place that we expect it to, rather than we sending it to a borrower and hope that they turn around and send it to the right place. So because of the way we distribute draw funds, we're comfortable putting that money out to meet the terms that the vendor requires in order to keep the job flowing. But when that's not the case and you're fighting with your lender about trying to get draw money out, your business stops. To your point, like, you're not building a house. You're fighting on how I'm going to get the money. And hopefully my vendor doesn't then delay it even more and put me on some sort of a credit hold or stop taking my calls or stop fulfilling my orders. Like all your business comes to a halt when you can't get the money to build the house.
Yep.
And so that's why we take a lot of pride in being able to do that quickly and consistently.
Awesome. Well, Steve, this is great information around underwriting, around, the importance of draw. Obviously you need the money to do your job, and you don't want to, the other thing is builders want to build, right? They don't want to be dealing with problems. But these are great topics and great information. So I appreciate the time.
Yeah, sure. And the underwriting is just the first piece of it, right? Like I was telling somebody the other day, the underwriting part is just the end of the sales process, right? We talk about these projects. A sales process for us might take 5 or 6 months, when you start talking to somebody to when you actually do a loan with them. And you try to gather all the info up on the front end you can and do all of the same stuff, make an application and send us some of the docs that we need. And the underwriting process is just the kind of the consummation of that to make sure that what we've learned about the project and our borrower is what's kind of backed up by the documentation that you give to us.
Awesome. Well, this is great information, and we will talk again.
Appreciate you. Have a good one.